Good morning. Welcome to the City Council meeting today. I would like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised our City Council meetings are broadcast on Comcast Channel 99, AT&T Uverse, and the City of Gadsden YouTube channel. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Ivan Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Latham. Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Avery.
Here.
Councilman Back.
Here.
Councilman Wilson.
Here.
Councilwoman Minatra.
Here.
And Councilman Robinson.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Brian Harbison to come forward and lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We pray with me. Almighty God, we thank you for today. We thank you for the blessings of life. We thank you for this great city. We thank you for these leaders who are standing here today. We just pray for wisdom for them. Thank you for the mayor and his administration. Pray that you'll continue to watch over him, give him guidance, the wisdom and knowledge he needs. And God, we thank you for what you're doing in this city and in this city's heart. We thank you for the citizens of Gadsden. Pray that you'll continue to bless them. Pray that they'll keep their eyes on you, and not on us, but on you. And we promise to give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the General Administration Committee work session and City Council meeting held on August 22nd.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
Item 6, the chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the week of August 18th through the 24th.
So moved.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Item 7 is reserved for proclamations and commendations, and we have two very important commendations today. Mayor Ford, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. Today we have two people retiring that have spent 30 years with the city of Gadsden, and we want to recognize them. And if you haven't recognized our new pins with our logo, we want to recognize them and have them say a word, please. If Brian Harbison would come up here, please. Brian's a good East Gadsden guy.
That's right.
But Brian, we want to thank you for everything you've done, and it's been a pleasure for my time that I've spent with you. And I know your family and your brothers, and I know you're gonna regret leaving us. But I want to tell you thank you for all the service you've done for Gadsden, and I'd like for you to say a few words, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Standing here, 32 years addressing the council, just kind of take so much for granted. And I appreciate you guys and the desire that you have to help your constituents, and that means more to me than anything. Wish I could stay longer, but it's time. And I always heard you would know when it's time, and so with a heavy heart, we're going to step away. Lord's got some other things he wants us to do, and we're looking forward to the challenges ahead. But I want to tell you guys I love you and I appreciate you. I will pray for you, and I'll see you from time to time. God bless you. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Brian, do you have anybody else that would like to say something? Pastor Matt? Okay. So I want to tell you, Brian's had a tough job. We all know what he does and what he has to do. And Brian, I want to tell you, you have been responsible for helping other neighbors keep their neighborhoods clean. And I know what you do. I know you pray about the decisions that you make. And one thing we're doing now is cleaning up some houses of some vacant lots, everything, something Brian's been encouraging us to do, and I think they're doing it as we speak. And I've had more neighbors thanking us for doing what we're doing today, and I said, well, that wasn't my idea, it was Brian's. But Brian, I want to thank you for what you've done and everything you've done for the service in the city of Gadsden. And I see his pastor, Matt Alexander's here today. Matt, you want to say anything? I've never known a preacher. Yeah, he wants to go on the record, but we're still going to pass a plate. All right, Kathy Jackson. Where's Miss Kathy? Always in the back. So Kathy has been at Fleet, and she's been with us for 30 years also. And y'all, this is a big loss to the city of Gadsden to lose two 30-year employees. Kathy has been probably I drive her crazy. I've been driving. I'll call her at 5:30, 4:30, and everything, and always I hear a dog in the background. And I said, Kathy, what time do you work? She goes, well, I get in at 7. I work different hours at Fleet. And I said, well, I'm learning. So, but Kathy always answers the phone, has always helped us, was very instrumental in when y'all passed the $1.2 million for the vehicles for Fleet. She helped us go through the process of what equipment is needed, prioritize the equipment, and she's the one sometimes too to have to be the bad person, to have to say that's not what's needed, Mayor, this is what's needed, and this is what I think is important. And then once we do the research, it comes out to that thing. But Kathy, I want to tell you, it's been a joy to get to know you. Your brother was my football coach. And my teacher. Yeah, I don't know if he did much teaching.
That's what I was saying.
Just kidding.
He said he has credit for.
He has credit for, yeah. But he was probably the hardest football coach I ever had. But her brother, Steve Shields, who played for the Braves and also worked for the city of Gadsden. But the Shields family has a big reputation here in the city of Gadsden, a great reputation. But Kathy, we want to thank you. And also, I've had a lot of conversations with her about Fleet and the position that it's in. Fleet's in good position because of Kathy Jackson. But Kathy, we want to thank you, and we wanted you to say a few words, please.
Well, I started to work with the city. I was right out of high school, and I never dreamed I would be here this long. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've worked in 5 different departments over the years. Have a lot of friends who I consider family now, and I appreciate everything the city's done for me. Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Britt. You want to say
Oh,
something?
thank you, Mayor. I just, on behalf of a grateful city, Kathy and Brian, thank you all for your dedication and your years of service. It certainly hasn't gone unnoticed, and you're leaving a void that's, if you're the type of folks that aren't replaceable, we'll just move forward best we can. But Godspeed to y'all. You'll be in our prayers as we move forward, and we hope we see you from time to time. Please don't be strangers at City Hall. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Okay, item 8 is unfinished business. We have 3 ordinances that were presented last week for the first reading. Item 8A is an ordinance authorizing conveyance of property located at North 6th Street to the Greater Gadsden Housing Authority. This is the 6th Street pool property. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
I will discuss it, say something on this matter as it relates that wasn't said publicly. Appreciate the workmanship as it relates to the administrative office as also the Greater Housing Authority. Of course, the pool situation was a sensitive topic when it was at its head. And so this, to be transparent to the community, this will give the Collie Home community the opportunity to have a lack of for terms, a small community center within that housing. Emma Sansom has one, 11th Street has one, 6th Street is the only one that does not, or Colley Homes is the only one that does not have that. That does not mean, and I think it has been stated, that does not mean that a park and all those other items that was mentioned are going away, but this does give another opportunity for this property to be developed for something that the Colley Homes do not have. So I wanted to speak to that as a supportive representative for this conveyance of property. And again, we still push forward as it relates to a pool or any other items as it relates for children in that community. But I do support this conveyance of the property at this location for that reason. That's my discussion. Thank you.
Mayor Ford.
Mr. President, thank you, and I appreciate the councilman's comments because it is within his district. This is a great opportunity for the Greater Housing Authority, and we thank them for coming to us with this idea that helps solve this problem for that area and the residents of that community. Please be it known to the District 3 residents that we are still looking for opportunities for splash pads, splash pools in the whole city area. That is not out of our goals to try to accomplish. We're looking for funding and looking for land and looking for the best possible locations for this to take place. So just wanted to reassure the people that.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 8B is ordinance amending ordinance number 0-47-23 regarding managed care of dogs and cats. This requires owners to register and obtain licenses for dogs and cats over 6 months of age, establishes a permit for commercial breeders, and fines for owners of dogs or cats captured at large that are unlicensed or have expired licenses. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd
What-
like to make a motion that we table this ordinance for approximately 3 weeks. There have been some notices made by different residents of the city, and there are, for lack of a better way, there's an opportunity to cast a wider net on this subject and provide more to this ordinance. So I'm requesting that we would come back to the Safety Committee in approximately 3 weeks with other recommendations.
Mr. President, I think we have to.
Right. Did you have a motion to, no, you withdraw your motion? Okay, thank you, Councilman Avery. All right. So there's a motion to table this for 3 weeks.
Second.
There's a second. All right. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to table the ordinance for 3 weeks, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to table for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I'd like to recognize Councilman Wilson, who's the chairman of the Public Safety Committee.
Yeah, I just want to make this clear. This is something that's already been before the Public Safety Committee once for review. Obviously, this is an issue that has the potential to be polarizing in the sense that people are very, very passionate about animals on both sides. I just want to say this. I'm totally fine with us going, taking our time and an additional 3 weeks to look over this, and as Councilwoman Menatra said, cast a broader net. But I want to make it clear, the one thing that I have probably been most frustrated with as an elected official over the last 5 years is municipalities, not just Gadsden, have a tendency to be so afraid of failure that will continue to do something the wrong way or not do anything at all out of fear at failing at trying something new. And that's what I don't want to see happen here. I don't want to see us just continue to kick this can down the road because we didn't get it perfect. The truth is there is no magic bullet for this. It's going to take dozens of different programs and dozens of different approaches, but we have to act. We have to move on this because this is a real issue. Now, there are some parts of this community where stray animals aren't really that big of an issue, but there are also parts of this community where it's a major issue. I have pictures on my telephone right now of a child in District 5 who was mauled by a stray animal. Their face, their hands are all scratched up and cut up. We received, I think, I was speaking to Tina King, the Director of Public Safety here. She's gotten over 250 calls in a month because of these stray animal issues. People being trapped in their house, elderly people that can't get out their door because there's a pack of dogs standing outside their door barking that won't let them out. So I'm all about getting this right. I'm all about doing our due diligence, but we have to act at some point. This stuff is not chiseled in marble. I'm not afraid of some of this failing. If it doesn't work, we'll come back and we'll change it, and we'll do it a different way. If it's not enough, we'll come back and add to it. But we have to move forward. We can't sit, there's no such thing as sitting still. You're either moving forward or you're falling behind. There's no such thing as sitting in the middle. So I look forward to seeing some expanded ideas and concepts to be presented in public safety. But I just asked my colleagues here, after this 3-week delay, whatever it is, let's take action on it, and let's move, and let's get it rolling, and let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll fix it.
Mr. President, can I ask a
Yes,
question?
Mayor Ford.
So there are still some ordinances that have been passed that are in place now, correct?
That's right.
So they're in place. I just want the council to know the number one phone call we get are people from our district, which is everyone's but your districts, about dogs and cats. And I don't know what to pass. We presented this, but y'all please utilize the subcommittee and bring us back something, because if we don't have something, I'm not going to say we're throwing the towel in, but if we don't have something enforced, then there's nothing we can do other than continue to do what we're doing, which is not what we want to do as a public as far as in euthanization of animals. So our goal is to have animals adopted, not euthanized, and some districts are different than others. Where one district may not have animal issues, but one district may have a lot. And we are focusing our attention on that, and I think we've made an impact on this situation. And Chief Crane's here today and has done a wonderful job with the Humane Society. And basically, I don't want to say we've handcuffed you as a mayor and administration, but we're trying. They have gotten the Humane Society certified, am I correct? Which is a huge deal. So anything we can do to help you and your people continue to get the animals adopted. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, wait, I'm going to
I'm
recognize
done. Yeah.
Chief Crane.
Okay, thank you.
Chief Crane is Chief John Crane is the executive director of the Humane Society that we support. He obviously has an opinion on this, and so through the council procedures, we would have to suspend the rules to allow somebody to speak that's not on the agenda. So I make a motion that we suspend the rules to allow Chief Crane to speak. Is there a second? Second. All right. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to allow the speaker, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have unanimous consent.
Chief Crane. Thank you, sir.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity to speak, especially on this ordinance. I knew that. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, especially on this ordinance. I guess what it boils down to is accountability. You really need to come down to the Humane Society and see what we're getting in. We've got some adorable dogs and cats that are highly adoptable, and we've got some that you just slide the food tray under the door to feed them. But this comes down to registering, especially, I think in the ordinance you have to describe your animal. If it's aggressive, then there's actions that need to be taken about that. But like I said, it comes down to who's got what and what are you doing with it and how are you being held accountable. So on behalf of the Humane Society, I will say that I fully support this and really ask that y'all give it due consideration in the 3 weeks coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your service.
have anything else.
All right,
before we
all right, we'll move on then to item 8C. Is an ordinance amending City Code Section 46-97, Sections B4 of the noise ordinance regarding commercial deliveries adjacent to residential areas. This ordinance specifies that activity occurring outside the hours of 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. may not exceed 70 decibels as read by a sound level meter at any point that is normally occupied as a residence. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to, just for the general public, Walmart has requested that they be allowed to bring trucks in a little earlier in the morning or a little later in the afternoon. So we commissioned a third-party engineering group to go out there with these noise decibel meters and take readings at random days from around Walmart to see what kind of impact it would have. And all those readings came back well within the range of what they were supposed to be as far as generally accepted. So we're just passing a city ordinance that allows them to bring trucks in and out of those areas a little earlier in the morning, a little later in the afternoon.
All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Agenda item 9, this is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of a resolution authorizing annulment of an unnamed alley between annulled Herring Avenue and Hertzberg Avenue off East Broad Street in District 4. The city has initiated this annulment request. All utility companies have been notified and are allowed by state law to maintain any utility facilities located in the alley. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Does anyone wish to speak in favor? The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? I just want to point out that if this is in part of an economic development program that we're building, the city's going to embark on building a building for the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services located behind the Jacks and Burger 101 off of East Broad Street. So this is a real good opportunity to retain 40 jobs in Gadsden and to partner with the state. The state of Alabama will be the lessee for this, Mayor Ford, that's right?
Yeah, so I was just texting David Hooks to make sure everything's on go, and I wanted to say this to the president. He brought it, Kent Back brought it to our attention that Darden Rehab was going to be relocated. This was a chain of events where Darden relocated to the old County School Board of Education, and then Dr. Murphy at Gadsden State allowed the Department of Rehab Services to stay on George Wallace Drive while we developed this partnership, and we contacted the commissioner from Montgomery to come up here to meet with us, and she agreed to continue to pay a normal rent to Gadsden State while we facilitated this operation agreement. This is a great opportunity for Gadsden to keep these jobs, but also to continue to offer the services that are offered in Gadsden. We were this close to losing it to a neighboring city, which we did not want to lose. And this is the right thing to do, and I want to thank y'all for consideration of this, and thank David Hooks for his continuance of bringing jobs back and keeping jobs in Gadsden.
That's right. Mr. Hooks did a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ford. I appreciate that. Any further discussion? Okay, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 10 is a resolution authorizing agreement with CDP Design LLC. This is to complete architectural design services required to renovate Fire Station Number 2 located on Airport Road, and the amount is $14,802. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Is there any discussion?
So, Mr. President, we have worked out a contract with the Department of Public Safety, or ALEA. They're now located in Atala, and we've recruited them to locate in Gadsden. They've requested to come to us. We're using the old fire station out by the airport, and we received a bid on it. It was over the bid amount, so we decided we could do it in-house. but we needed architectural drawings to show us how to do it. It'll bring rent for us, so the building's just not sitting there vacant. So we're excited about having them take the property, utilize it, have them in our area, and also they'll be by the airport, which will be a great recruiting tool also.
That's great. Good work on that. All right. Any other discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 11 is a resolution authorizing agreement with Tillman Consulting LLC. This is to assist with the right-of-way acquisition for the 9th Street North Lay Street Drainage Project, and the amount is $20,650. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 12 is a resolution authorizing agreement with Tillman Consulting LLC. This is to assist with right-of-way acquisition for the Adams Park Drainage Project located on East Broad Street from 15th Street North to 22nd Street. The amount is $54,750. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 13 is new business. I believe we have a couple of items to be presented today.
Yes, Mr. President, I've got a couple here. One is from the Parks and Recreation Department, authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the Alabama Tourism Department in the amount of $13,000. This will help with expenses involved with Art on the Rocks, the Trick or Treat Village, and Christmas at the Falls. Again, this is a 100% grant from the Alabama Tourism Department to help with some of these awesome programs that Jen and the Parks and Rec Department put on every year for the citizens. So with that in mind, it's free money, and the sooner we can get it, the better. So I would ask that we suspend the rules, and I also have a companion document to this, which would be the ordinance amending the budget to receive this money. So that would be, I'm asking for immediate consideration on 2023-662 and 2023-663, which is again the companion ordinance to modify the budget.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution and the ordinance as items of new business today, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we have unanimous vote for consideration.
I'd like to move that we adopt both resolution 2023-662 and ordinance 2023-663.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt both the resolution and the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt both.
And the last one I have, Mr. President, is a resolution coming from the MIS department here, authorizing the state and local cybersecurity grant program application. What this will do is will allow our MIS department here in the city to submit for a grant from the state of Alabama, state and local cybersecurity grant program. This allows the city to purchase equipment and invest in different technologies that will improve our defenses against cybersecurity attacks. It'll help to secure documents and sensitive materials that are stored digitally. We can use this grant money to again buy certain equipment and invest in certain technology that'll help us protect that sensitive information. So with that in mind, I would ask that we suspend the rules and consider this resolution under new business today, please.
All right, do we have a second? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution under new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move to adopt, please.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
That concludes our new business. Item 14 is department reports, committees or boards. Do we have any this morning? Thank you for coming forward. All right. It's a mad rush for the.
Everybody else can go first. Good
Thank you.
morning. I just wanted to remind everybody that tonight, starting at 5 o'clock, will be our CERT class. It goes every Tuesday and Thursday for the next 4 weeks. It will be at Carver Community Center. For more information, you can email us at ema@cityofgadsden.com or reach out through our Facebook page. You can message us on there, or you can call us at 256-549-4575. That's all I have today.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
Derek.
sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Derek, while you're here, I want to follow up on one thing, if you don't mind, Mr.
No,
President.
please do.
I'd asked, and I know this is a big ask, but some members of the community have been requesting for a while to see if there's any sort of grant funding available for water filtration systems. Can you please keep that on your agenda and try to see if we can find some sort of federal grant dollars that might help with local citizens purchasing reverse osmosis systems for their home water?
Yes, sir. I
Thank
sure
you.
will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Mayor and Council. I just want to give you an update from Public Works on our tree service that we had come in to do some hauling for us up on the mountain for our storm debris. We're finished up with that contract. We hauled 50 loads, and the total tonnage on the loads was 485.22 tons that we hauled out of there. And we started on Friday before last and finished up yesterday. So in 7 days, they hauled off that for us. Kevin's Tree Service did it. He hauled with 2 trucks for us the entire time, so that helped us keep finishing up on other routes. All of our trucks are up there right now, trying to haul all the small stuff off of that. I've talked to the mayor and Tino about this. They've got to come up with another little small plan to either stay up there and finish, send some on to the other routes, because we don't want our other routes to get behind in our other areas. So they're in contact with me on that, so we can kind of produce and go on through our the rest of our stuff. So just give you an update on what we went through on that. So I'm sure we'll be coming back in the next week or two with another proposal for you to help finish, because we're not even making a dent in the big stuff that's up there.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mayor Ford.
So we have ridden it a bunch, but I'll tell you this, what they're doing is phenomenal. To Council District 7, to you, we're trying as fast as we can. I talked to some aggravated neighbors, and I understand what they're feeling, and I would feel the same. They were very understanding, but we're going as fast as we can, and they're out of overtime. We're trying to move money around without asking for money. We're coming with a new plan to try to get some of the big stuff again, because what happens is they'll go down a road, clear it. Well, then the neighbors, it's their time to do their yard again, and they're putting another pile out, so it looks like they haven't been there. So they have been there, but then in the meantime, I'm riding through East Gadsden, all District 3, District 4, District 5, and there's stuff sitting out there just waiting too. So not from the storm, some maybe from the storm, but some from us. So I'm asking people just to please be patient. We will get to it, and we are, I actually are in the new budget ordering new, I don't know what you call them. I call them grabber trucks in the budget to try to get more vehicles so this doesn't happen again down the road. So we're planning accordingly. The logistics part of it is something that we're working on. We have a map up in my office, and we're talking about doing some other things in the next week, just trying to catch up in your district. So if you hear stuff going on in your district, please let us know. The next district to be occupied would be District 3, Carver
Correct.
Community.
Correct.
And then we go into 1 and 2, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's the rotation. And then we go back to where? 4, and then 5 and 6? Okay. So we do have a plan. It's just please be patient and understand that they're doing all they can do. We have 9 to 10 trucks running, and then they break down consistently. And then we try to hurry and get them up. But to District 7 and the mountain residents, we're working our tails off, so we're trying.
And understand too, you know, when they go up there and when some of these streets, you know, like East Sunset Drive, we talked about, you know, there's 10 loads in there, you know, so you're talking 2 days of hauling time we loading up, going to the landfill back and forth. I mean, it takes a lot of time to do that just on some of these streets. There's so much stuff out there with this storm damage. And my 28 years here, never seen anything like this as far as being able to get it up. I mean,
So,
we've always been able to get it up pretty
Ty,
pretty
some
quick.
people ask me, why don't we just burn it? Will you answer that? Number two, why can't we just dump it somewhere? Will you explain where it goes and why we have to do it based on ADM? Will you explain that?
And the fire issue would be under somebody else on that. I don't have any idea about that. But we do have to take it out to our landfill. It has to be approved. It has to be weighed. We have to grind that up. If there's another company that would love to come in and haul some of these pieces, these big pieces of logs off for their grinding, their firewood, anything like that, we're always available for that. I mean, that's easy to come get it. But we do have to keep a record of it for FEMA and other stuff that we have to take care of on that.
So to answer the burn question, we can't burn. Yeah, we're in city limits and it's not October 1, so I'll answer that before that goes haywire. No
I want to
burning.
abstain from that answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, right.
Ty, do you have an idea, I've been talking with some residents, of the time, the time it takes to load a truck, and then it's full, and then to get it down the mountain to almost to Glencoe, and then you got to unload it, then you got to turn around and go back to the mountain. Is that a 30-minute? Is that a 60-minute?
Between 30 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I know going down the mountain with the full truck, you can't go real fast. I mean,
No, and a lot of these trucks won't exceed. Some people call in about us speeding. I mean, these trucks won't go over 45, 50 miles an hour, at the most, and that might be downhill. So, it just takes a while to go do that. Time you load that up and get back, you may be an hour, depending on what the traffic is. If you had to stop and take a break, if it was right at lunchtime, the truck broke down, we had to get fuel. I mean, just different things happen with that.
We're trying alternate hours, 10-hour days, going 4 days a week instead. We're trying everything we can do to keep people on the scene.
Well, then keep in mind, I think the heat index has been over 100 for the last couple of weeks.
That's took a strain on us right now with
it
that. But we're doing. Our employees are working their tails off for it. They're busting it as hard as they can go and as fast as they can go. And like I said, just be patient with us as much as you can. We're trying our best to get it up for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, East Sunset, is it getting taken care of soon, or
We hauled all the big stuff off that could from Kevin's tree service. Now my trucks will be in there getting the little stuff for it.
And everybody, they're frustrated out there, but everybody, when you talk to them, when you reach out and talk to them, they are understanding, and they know you guys are working your tails off to get it done. So
Good.
It was a unique situation.
It is,
I
very
just
much
tell
so.
them how hard we're working now. Just imagine when we didn't have a storm coming through, how clean we'll get it.
Well, and we're still, like the mayor was talking about, we're 3.5 to 4 weeks out on rotation still.
Right.
So we're still within our frame to get there. We just got to decide, hey, do we want to just completely stay and finish, or do we want to go on and, and not let the rest of our routes go? So we've got a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss on that part there. So we just want to make sure everybody's happy with it and getting what we're supposed to get done for you.
To that point, I just want to say, and this may seem obvious to some people, but what would really help Public Works as well in this process is if you're cleaning your yard up, or if you've got some debris in your yard and you've got a tiny little pile of stuff, or maybe a small pile, and then right across the street on the other side of the road is a giant pile of stuff, go ahead and walk that extra about 8 steps and put it on the big pile. Because when you leave your own individual piles out in front of your house, that's one more stop that loader truck's got to make to clean that up, when if you would have just walked it across the street and dumped it on the big pile, it would have been much more efficient, which means they're not having to make as many stops. They can turn the trucks a lot faster. So if you've got 2 or 3 neighbors that all have piles, y'all consider consolidating all that into one large pile so it'll make it more efficient.
So, Mr. President, we're also trying to put a schedule out, because a lot of times they'll come through your neighborhood and you pick up, then the next day they'll put another pile out and they'll go, well, it's been here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, you have to understand, we can only rotate these trucks through neighborhoods about every 2 weeks. So we encourage you to clean your yard, and we're thankful for that. But once we get this schedule out, and it's been out, you got to watch Channel 99. You got to go to our Facebook page. You can call and ask, but we have a schedule that they're coming through your neighborhood. So the one issue we've had is people say, well, my stuff's been out here for 2 weeks. Well, they came out there the day before you put it out. So please understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Any other department reports, committees, or boards? All right, we'll move into the remarks, Mayor and Council. We'll start with We'll go to District 7. Councilman
Sure,
Robinson, I've
sure.
put you on the spot here.
No worries. I'll just repeat what I just said. I just will thank Public Works for all their hard work. Thanks for the mayor and the mayor's staff for getting kind of a plan up there. I know this Thursday will be 1 month since the storm, but that was one large storm that, I think it's a storm that we don't see very often. So it's looking a lot better, and they were up on Bellevue, Monte Vista. I got up this morning and rode around to a few spots where I got phone calls about, and they were actually on those roads picking up stuff. So we are getting to you, and they're working hard. So District 7's doing a good job being patient with it. I know there's a couple of people that are upset, but once you explain it to them, they do understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Minatra.
Well, to the point about, we've worked really hard these last several weeks to finalize the flyer that we are including in the garbage bill that will explain our trash, our garbage, really trying to help everyone understand what all of the elements are, including the landfill and different things that people may or may not have known about. But last Friday was the very first of our next two garbage bills that will go out, because we're in 3 cycles of a garbage bill. So August 25th, September 25th, October 25th. Those will be the dates that flyer will be included in the garbage bill. And I thank Faye Stokes in the garbage department for all of her help in making this happen. And we look forward to adding to those garbage bills regularly so that we can better communicate, because this is a big subject. And to the mayor's point, it's very difficult to help really retrain everyone in terms of, let's try to keep our community clean, and let's try to follow that cycle of not garbage pickup, but trash pickups, just so that we can keep our neighborhoods clean. And then when it's time for those trucks to come through, then we'll put that out that we want them to pick up. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Wilson.
Well, to start with, Mr. Harbison, thank you, Brian. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you over the last 5 years, even though I know your roots and my dad's roots probably go back further than I realized. But, man, you've taught me a lot about how to lead with compassion and be firm but fair, and I've taken that to heart, not just in my role as a city councilman, but as a business owner and just a person. So your impact on me goes well beyond the scope of this board up here, and I wish you all the best in your retirement. I know you'll enjoy it, and I guess I look forward to seeing you with some of those Mickey Mouse ears on pretty soon. And the only other thing I'll say is to address an issue with Argyle Circle. I've been in touch with Miss Tina King about some issues with the lighting there in Argyle Circle. So for folks in that community, please know that we're working on that, trying to get the lighting replaced on that. People don't realize, but that can be very dangerous. It's a roundabout. People come down Randall at night when the lights aren't working. It's very easy to have a vehicle to miss that roundabout altogether and just run right into that concrete circle. So we're working on getting that lighting fixed. There's also a couple of lights out on Argyle Circle itself. So we've got that process in the works. Just bear with us while we work to get those repaired. Also, I did a little drive-through, and I honestly don't think I was supposed to, but I did it anyway. I went around the barricades and took a ride down South 11th Street a few days ago, and like they say, things get darkest before the dawn. It may not look like it, but South 11th Street the hard stuff's over. It's about to get a lot better really quick. All of the subsurface work and all the deep surface work with the pipes and the gas lines and the sewer lines and the storm drains and all that has been done. So now we just got to level all that stuff out and pack it back up and get the new asphalt down on top of it. So we're hoping that sometime in October we'll be able to do a grand ribbon cutting for the new South 11th Street that's been in the works for quite some time. So other than that, I don't think I have any other updates. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Avery.
Thank you, Mr. President. just a bit of reminder to the community, particularly District 3 as it relates to this program being held at the Carver Community Center. The CERT program every Tuesday and every Thursday for a few weeks here. This program will be conducted there. So please, ma'am, please, sir, stay tuned. Also, take an opportunity out of your schedule to go and be a part of these programs that shed some insight on how to respond to these storms or particular storms that we have that have hit our city, especially as it relates to recently. Micro Enterprises Assistant Program, I want to just continue to highlight this to our small business community. The deadline is August the 31st, 2023. You have an opportunity up to $6,000 plus in consulting services and entrepreneurship as it relates to workshops and things of that nature. So please take advantage of the opportunities that is available for you. And it's here. It's being announced live. It's there on Facebook. Their marketing materials out. So please, ma'am, please, sirs, please take advantage of that opportunity. I want to thank and appreciate everyone that came out on this past Sunday, 3 to 5, for our final summer community cleanup. We didn't set up like we normally did because it was hot. And so we appreciate those that came. We missed a lot of people. We saw some people drive off with trucks and trailers that was there to help, but we couldn't sit there in the sun and wait and gather, so we went ahead and took off. I want to thank Lacey Robertson with the 4th Street community. I want to thank Gadsden Job Corps and the group that came as well. We'll continue and get some other dates together as it relates to the final months of the year, but definitely want to appreciate those that came out July and August for our community cleanup, as June and August, as the July was postponed. On my final one, a turning point 60 years ago, August the 28th, 1963, for a march on Washington, D.C. for jobs and freedom. There was a march on Washington that participated. 3 men, Robert Frank Thomas, James F. Smith, and Robert Avery, left with their thumbs up from Gadsden, Alabama, and with a desire to meet Dr. King and be a part of a celebration of jobs and freedom. These 3 men I want to thank and appreciate, who gave me motivation as I am to where I am today, the things that I've done in the community before. To leave this city, to go to D.C. to express their concern as it relates to the times, actions that was taking place in 1963. So I wanted to take this opportunity in the closing of my remarks to thank those 3 and recognize them, as on yesterday was a celebration, or this weekend was a celebration for the 60th year of the celebration of the March on Washington. And final, I would say also to Brian, it's been a pleasure with working with you even before coming on the council, being involved in civic duties before I came up here. Been the same then as you are now. Very humble, proud of your work, and I mean, I think we will have some big shoes to fill, and so appreciate it again. Thank you so much for all that you have done, and may God bless you in your endeavors and your family as you move forward. Thank you. This concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. President. Somebody said it's a sad dog that won't wag his own tail. So it's a lot of great things going on, and I'm super excited about what's going on within our city. Do want to thank the mayor, of course, and his staff, the council. Actually, the council took a trip last week to Anniston, and I hadn't been on Fort McClellan in many years, since I retired from FedEx, actually. It's just a whole nother world out there if you haven't been down there lately. Just met a lot of people down there. Actually, the mayor of Anniston was there. And so many people are talking about Gadsden, so we should be talking about what's going on in Gadsden. And on the way back, we passed truck after truck hauling all of these trees and limbs, and they didn't take them to Anniston, y'all. They were just taking them to the landfill. But I wanted to say to Public Works, we were able to see truck after truck after truck coming back last week. And thank you for all of your hard work that sometimes that people don't see. Again, as everybody else has said, be patient with us. We're going to eventually get to your area. We're riding our districts too. We realize that a lot of things are piled up, and eventually we'll get caught up. Somebody asked me, could I move those palm trees off the highway? And I didn't even know we had palm trees on Megan. They told me these palm trees are bringing the storms, but I told them the city council don't take care of palm trees. You gotta call somebody else about that. But anyway, great win for the Titans on Friday. They are at home again this week. Let's continue to cheer for the Titans and support the Gadsden Titans. Hopefully they're gonna have a great season on this year. Thank you, Councilman Avery. Yesterday was my father's birthday, and I appreciate Mr. Robert Avery for clarifying who the other two men were that walked with him to Washington. One of them was my dad, so I appreciate him sharing that story and bringing light to that. For years, it was Mr. Avery and two friends, and so he made it clear who those other two friends are. We appreciate that. So I want to just give a shout out to my dad's first birthday in heaven. Also to Miss Kathy and Mr. Harbison, thank you so much for your years of dedication. Anybody like me, when you talk to Mr. Harbison, you feel like you're talking to one of Jesus' disciples. I mean, he just got that presence of God on him. Amen. And I feel like I need to repent every time I have a conversation with him. But I just want to tell him we appreciate him. It's been a pleasure working with you. I've learned so much about these nuisance abatements and those up-close meetings with you. So thank you so very much. But that's all I have. Y'all have an amazing day today.
Thank you. Councilwoman Latham.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I failed to do this on last week. I would like to congratulate Derek Jenkins and C.J. Taylor for winning the Community Development Project 2000 golf tournament that they represented District 1. So I want to congratulate them. We also want to congratulate Mr. Harbison and Ms. Johnson, and we pray God's continued blessings on you, whatever your next endeavor is. And thank you for everything that you've done, Mr. Harbison, especially for the advice and walking us through this last year. Also on tonight, there is the I Believe in the Power of Reading. It is an elementary parent literacy night, and it is at the venue. It starts at 6 o'clock, and this is hosted by the Gadsden City School System in partnership with the City of Gadsden. So there will be child care. It is for kindergarten through 3rd grade, and this is going to prepare the parents for the upcoming testing that will be done with the 3rd graders. So we encourage you all to come out. All you have to do is show up. Dinner is going to be provided. Child care is also going to be provided, and we'll be there as well. And so we look forward to seeing our elementary parents on tonight. The last thing I would say is good job, great job to our mayor, great job to our city workers, those who work in the mayor's office, to the city council. Great job to the city of Gadsden. Great job. We're stronger together, and so I just applaud us all for the efforts that we are making to make the city of Gadsden a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Ford.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I want to reiterate what they were talking, the march of 60 years ago. The president asked me about that last night, and just to hear the stories when Mr. Avery came today, and I think he spoke to us here at council. Is that correct? Is that when that happened? When he told us about the march and how they marched, and who they marched with and what they went through. I can't imagine marching to Washington, D.C. 60 years ago. I mean, think of the speed limit was 55 also, and there weren't as many roads as there were today. So what they went through was amazing. And they did it in the spirit of peace. And excuse me, my allergies are killing me. But it's just an amazing feat, and that Robert Avery's still around to tell about it. That's great. And happy birthday to your late father, Councilman Smith. What a great accomplishment. I want to thank our employees for what they've done. I want to thank our Humane Society for what they're doing, and the board for what they're doing. I think that's phenomenal. That's a thankless job, and it's a tough job. And I mean that sincerely. To get certified, I don't think we realize the importance of that. But now our Humane Society is certified. I want to thank Mr. Harbison for his work. And I was sitting there, and I grew up with them kind of. They went to a different church. We went to First Baptist. But there's not a bad Harbison. I'll just be honest with you. Usually, in the family, there's always a bad Ford or, my brother. No, I'm just kidding. Or my sister. But there's not a bad Harbison. I knew all of his brothers. I knew his parents. His father was a preacher for years, but you're known by what you leave behind you. You can tell what Mr. Harbison did. He left a lot of fine children, and you've done the same, Brian, and appreciate you and what you've done. And I say that also, there's not a bad Shields. Her name's Kathy Johnson, but she's a Shields, and what she's done for our community and for Fleet. Kathy has done a great job, and I appreciate her and everything what she's done for our city. 30 years is a long time to work for one employer. I tell people all the time, you think about your longest place where you've worked, I guarantee it's not 30 years. You stole my thunder on the Titans. I want to congratulate them on a win. We were standing on the sideline, and at 7:30 I looked at my Weather Channel. It was 93 degrees. I turned around and looked at the fans. It looked like the land of zombies. Everybody was just surviving to be there. But it was hot and it was muggy. But I want to thank the fans that turned out, the band, the cheerleaders, everybody that performed there. It was a great victory. We've had good feedback from the employees on the draft handbook. We've met with both unions, fire and police. We're still working through that to let the council know. We're finalizing the budget. To let y'all know, the central focus of this year's budget, we want to have a focus on every budget that we come through. This year it's going to be the employees. We've taken a hit, and we're trying to recover on some things. And we all know we're not going to cry over spilt milk, but we're trying to take care of our employees and put our employees first. And we're almost finalizing that. We'll be presenting to the council, and y'all will take it to the finance committee, and we'll go that route. And hopefully we'll meet the needs that need to be met. There's never enough money. But we were digging into our school system. We want to thank Keith Blackwell. He was named acting superintendent with Sharon Maness as interim assistant superintendent. But the council gives an average of $100,000 a year in discretionary money. The city also appropriates $1.2 million in a bond payment every year for the school debt, plus ongoing use of city facilities. This year, we're donating 4 community centers to the school system, which is phenomenal. We've had a great working relationship with Dr. Tony Reddick. We're excited about the future of the system, and we're continuing to work with our school system to help them provide the best quality education for the Gadsden children as possible. We want to thank Mac Butler, Representative Butler. He's also having a community development board meeting next month, which we have put forth a lot of grants for our departments that we're monitoring, and he's doing everything he can with Senator Andrew Jones to try to award as many of those grants as possible. He is also bringing a business to Gadsden. We've worked with him on a horse-drawn carriage is coming to downtown Gadsden. So we're going to have tours to go down the historic district on Fridays and Saturdays. You'll make reservations, and we're working with him on that. That was a crazy idea that he had and I had, and we worked together, and hopefully it'll come to fruition. So I have seen the carriage. I have not seen the horses, but I'm sure he has some horses somewhere. I do want to say this. We're still dealing with the homeless population. We have discovered this morning that we are picking up some homeless and delivering them back to the city that they came from. So I want to let the cities know and surrounding us and that can hear our voice, if you bring us homeless, beware. Because we are going to do everything possible legally to come against you. And we have already been sending out letters of cease and desist to these other municipalities. But we will take care of our homeless, but we do not want your homeless. So I want that to be known. Our police have enough to do, and we're trying to do everything we can do from our legal standpoint. So I'll leave it at that, and thank you, Mr. President.
Mayor Ford, thank you. Just to reiterate, the things that have been said today. Gadsden is doing very well. I know Councilman Smith is one of our biggest cheerleaders, and he's exactly right. This is just a great time in the city of Gadsden. So many positive things are going on, and a lot of that's in part due to Mayor Ford and his administration and your team. Y'all are doing a fantastic job, working long hours and coming up with good ideas, and it does not go unnoticed. And I want to publicly thank y'all for what you're doing. Thank you for your leadership, and it's just a good day. Although there are many challenges, like the Humane Society. Chief Crane, thank you for the work that you do out there. That is not a job that I would want to have, and you are to be commended along with all the volunteers and employees out there, and we will do our best to get this as right as we can get it. Brian Harbison. I met Brian Harbison in 1974 when I went to Gadsden High School as a 10th grader, and Brian was an 11th grader. We've been friends ever since. We've worshiped together for decades at First Baptist Church Gadsden. His lovely wife, Gina, is a dear, dear friend. We sing in choir together. I could go on and on. Mayor, you're correct. There's not a bad Harbison. Fine family. Brian, you have left a wonderful legacy here at the city of Gadsden in a very tough job. You have to tell people things they don't want to hear, but you've done it in a kind and compassionate way, yet in a business way that balances the demands of the ordinances, but yet has the empathy for the citizen that maybe is just down on their luck and just not having a good day. So you're going to be missed, and I know the example you have set in that office will be carried forward with the very fine employees that you have in your office there. So, but we're going to miss you. I'll get to see you Wednesday and Sunday, but we're going to miss you here at the city of Gadsden. Gina, don't get a big list just yet for him. Give him at least till Saturday, to have some fun. So, what a great guy, and what a great family. And to Kathy, 30 years. Thank you for all of your work. You're a dedicated employee. Her brother, she mentioned, or I think Mayor did, Steve Shields, that played for the Atlanta Braves and the New York Yankees. Steve and I are the same age, competed against each other a little bit in junior high basketball and football, and then I didn't play baseball in high school, but I'd go watch Steve pitch when Gadsden High was playing Hoax Bluff, and I don't think I ever saw the ball. Once it left his hand, the next thing you heard was a pop in the catcher's mitt. Just unbelievable. So that is a fine family. They've contributed greatly to our city, and so to Kathy and her family, thank you. And you will definitely be missed, and please do not be a stranger. Looking forward to tonight at the venue. Big thanks to Councilwoman Latham and Councilwoman Manatra for kind of spearheading the city's involvement. It's a big deal. Y'all are probably seeing this in the paper, third grade literacy test. If you're out there and you have a child kindergarten age or up to third grade, please read to that child. It's a proven scientific fact. They have to hear, I think, 15,000 words a day. And so read to your children, read to your grandchildren, read to your nieces and nephews. It is vitally important for their success, as it lays a foundation of literacy in that child. So read to your loved ones. And with that, I believe we will be done today. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. We are adjourned.